Okay, so on this video, we're going to finish out Chapter 1. The last thing on this task after I've exported the balance sheet is I'm supposed to highlight the largest asset on Rock Castle Construction's November 30th balance sheet. So if I go along and I look at all the assets, they start right here. I go through, I go looking up, and then the largest one that I see is right here. I'm just going to highlight that cell. So now I've done that part. I can save it. And get out of that. The next task is telling me to back up this file. So I'm going to go along and I'm going to create a backup. It's going to be local. So this is showing me the most recent backup files that I have. Notice, just because of the options that I chose, yours may just say Chapter 1 data, but because, or maybe your name, Chapter 1 data. Because I chose the option for it to do the date and time, you see it's doing backup January 18th, 1:59 p.m. So I'm going to go ahead and always notice too right here because it says save backup file. And that, because sometimes this window looks a lot just the same as when it's also asking you to open up a file. Okay, so now I've saved it. And this is actually going to be the last backup that I'm going to do for Chapter 1 because I'm pretty much finished. The rest of the exercises in the book are wanting to navigate you to other areas within QuickBooks and to do look at certain things in the help where you would print, circle, and highlight. Don't worry about doing that. As far as printing it and sending it to me, do look at what it's asking you to do because it does have some helpful information. Sometimes these exercises I think are just meant to actually want to sell you on more features, such as copies of their checks, things like that, check stock. But it's still a good exercise to go through and navigate through the help and menus and stuff as they direct you. So I'm finished with Chapter 1. And as I go through my textbook, now I have Project 1 for Larry's Landscaping. And if you read on the book on page 155, it's telling you what you should do. So again, I keep emphasizing this. Read the book. It's telling you all the steps that you should do. Step 1 says to restore the Project 1 data file, QBB, for Larry's Landscaping. And then it tells you to update the name. Well, recall we've been using a chapter data file. This is the project data file. So since I haven't done this before, it's going to be on my data CD that came with the book. So I've got that already in my CD drive. I'm going to open File Explorer, click on Computer. It is in there, so I'm not sure why it's fussing at me. And now it's showing up. Okay. I click on Student Data Files, and you see there's only one project data file. When I click on that, don't open it, because if you do, it's going to go in and it's going to launch QuickBooks, and that's not what you're wanting to do. You're really wanting to save it so that you'll have everything straight from the way that it came from QuickBooks. Well, this is the problem with Firefox, is when you do it like this, it's always wanting you to open. There we go. I'm going to open the container with holding the photo. All right, here it is. Here's the file. It went in my downloads folder. So I am going to move it into my desktop. There's my data files right there. I'm going to move it right there in that folder. Now I'm going to go back down to QuickBooks. You may already be out of QuickBooks. You may still be in QuickBooks. I stayed in it so that you can see that I'm actually in the Chapter 1 file. This description here actually comes from your company information, not the name of the file. So that's just something you might want to be aware of. But I need to be in the project file, so I'm going to have to bring that open. And I'm going to have to restore it. I don't already have a company file open for the project yet, so I'm going to have to restore it from a backup. It's the backup file that I pulled off the disk. Open or restore company. And I want to open. You see how it's bringing up the one that I backed up last time, which is the Chapter 1. That's not the one that I want, so I want to make sure and click the Project 1 data file. Now it's saying save company file as. So that was a backup file. Now I want to save a company file. And I don't want it here, which is the default of where it came up. I want to go under my desktop where I was saving everything, my QB data file folder. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to change it with my name. And so now my company file is going to be called Donna Mallory Project 1. And you see there's a Donna Mallory Chapter 1. These are the only company files that I will have, at least to date. The more you go forward, the more files that you will have. In the instructions on your book, after it to number 2, it's just telling you to go pull up the Excel template, but we're still using the same one we've been using for the chapter stuff, so you don't have to do anything like that. We're just going to continue on with the Excel file we've been using. Okay, so now we have Larry's Landscaping up here. And that kind of lets you know that you're in the right file. In the projects, it's going to test your knowledge a little bit more. You notice it's not telling me step by step what I need to do. It's basically telling me, go do this, export it. It's not saying go here, then here, then here. But these, of course, are exactly what we did in the chapter file. It says under number 3 to using the Chapter 1 reports Excel template, which is what we've been saving on. Export to Excel the profit and loss standard for Larry's Landscaping for the last fiscal year. So pay attention to your dates there. And if you recall, it told us to go to Reports, Company and Financial. Always pay attention here to what is asking you. This one is profit and loss standard. It might at some point in some chapter ask you to do the details. So just make sure you pay attention again to exactly what it's telling you to do. Here, it wants us to do it for the last fiscal year. So let me click last fiscal year. And I'm going to verify that this is right by checking the dates that it gave me, October 1 to September 30, 2006. So I've got the right one. I'm going to run it. It's going to come up. I'm going to Excel, go up here to Excel and export it. See, we haven't done anything with the project file, so there's no default file coming in here. It doesn't know that I have this Chapter 1 reports already done. So when I went ahead and clicked open, it had happened to go straight to the folder where I wanted it to go, which that works out good. Got to remember to select the sheet. Now I'm into the PRs. So PR 1.3 PL. Well, we can see on this one, it actually didn't create that extra sheet, so I don't have to do anything as far as deleting that. It is hanging up on me again. It's kind of frozen. I'm going to get off of it, get back on it, and just make sure that you have all the other information that you were supposed to have. But here it is. It wants me to go ahead and highlight some information on here. The single largest income item. I'm going to let you do that on your own. There's several things that you're supposed to highlight. On 3, I'm supposed to highlight the single income item, and then under number 4, I'm actually going to be doing another report. I'm going to be doing the detail report. So let me go ahead, save this, get out of it. I can get out of this report. Now I want to do the next one, which is the profit and loss detail. I want to change it to last fiscal year. I'm going to run it. Export it. I'm going to make sure that it's defaulted to the right one. And of course it's the only one, so it has. And then I'm going to go down to the detail, export. There it is. I'm going to just go ahead and click off and click right back on, and then save it. Oh, make sure that you highlight what it tells you to highlight and then save it. I'm going to go to the next step, which is number 5, which is the balance sheet standard. There it is. Again, the last fiscal year. Run it. I'm going to click off, click on, save it. I only have one left. Again, I'm going to repeat this, highlight what you're supposed to highlight before you save it. Then the last step, reports that I'm going to do is the balance sheet summary. And if I scroll down, I can see it right here. Last fiscal year. And real quickly, if I were to do advanced, there's some options here. One thing I had wondered is how come I wouldn't see the headers when I was exporting into Excel. And I noticed later on that on this advanced feature that you show the report header only on the report, which is what mine is selected. And I'm going to show you that. Or you can have it printed on the printed report in the screen, which is probably what you want. It looks like it's a better option. I don't think the grader is going to make any difference.